Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston, and it's the 3rd of July, 2025. And there's a lot of you guys in the chat already. I didn't give you any notice, so if you didn't get notified, it's because I just popped this up a few minutes ago. And what's up, Rick Whitney? Do you think they will pull off a false flag and blame it on Iran? Well, we'll get to that because tomorrow is the 4th of July in the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? And things are already getting really wacky right off the bat. And somebody left a comment saying that we haven't had this much action since Comet Ison. I believe it was Shadowburn 3D. And I got to tell you, I've never seen this much action going down all around the world, but specifically in America, ever since I started doing this. I mean, this is just coming from every single solitary angle. They've literally lined it up so that anything can happen at any minute, and you can blame it on the anti-ICE people, the illegal immigrants, Iran, Russia, China, outer space. And you know what I'm saying? And that's what people really seem to get mad in the comments saying, Richie, you know, I roll with you on so many things, but it really gets to me when you talk about the flat earth, the biblical cosmology. I was never a flat earther. I actually mocked it years ago. Even when my buddy Nicholson and ODD were both running with the flat earth, I wasn't buying it. I kept saying, it doesn't make any sense. What difference does it make? Until it finally dawned on me. And unlike many people, I didn't learn what the actual shape of the earth is by watching a very well-spoken dude explain different tenets of why the earth is flat, this, that, and the other thing. I broke out the telescopes, I broke out the cameras, I broke out the astro binoculars, and I live across the street from the ocean. And as a matter of fact, let me show you an example of that right now. There are so many ways to figure out that the earth is not what they tell us it is whatsoever at all. It's not flying through space at 666,000 miles an hour, spinning around the sun with all these planets orbiting it, and yet the stars never ever move. You know what I mean? All the constellations, ever since they were first recorded, no, not yet. Ever since they were first recorded, the stars are still in the exact same place. None have ever gone supernova. None have ever shot. None have ever fallen. None of that stuff, because none of that's actually real, man. None of it's real whatsoever at all. And I've spoken to many pilots, and I've gone up, and I've gone to the tallest mountains in the United States, to the very tip top, and then launched a drone another half mile up. And you know what? The camera comes up to meet the eye. But watch this. I did this with an iPhone across the street from my house. Watch this. Watch this little doozy if I can find it. Stand by. Stand by. Standing on the beach. That island is 2 miles out, and I'm zooming in with an iPhone. This island, this rock, it's called Egg Rock, is 2 miles offshore. Do you notice that the ocean comes up right behind it all the way across? The water is very calm and flat today, and I'm not even using a Nikon P950. I'm using an iPhone 14. I mean, it's right there in your face. If this earth was a sphere or a ball or anything like they tell us it is, you wouldn't see anything behind this because the water would just gradually fall away. But it doesn't, because it's not. And then you can simply look to the sky. Listen to this. There's a little bit of commentary here because we've had some really strange weather here, believe it or not. Super hot weather, actually. I have never seen these clouds in Massachusetts before. These are hail clouds. There's the Atlantic Ocean. Thunder and lightning is brewing. Now, this was last night. You see this? There's the Atlantic all lit up nice and red. It's reflecting the red clouds over it. Now, Richie, that's the sun reflect. Well, the sun's actually down, and the sun is 180 degrees the other direction. This is whatever they're spraying in the sky, and I find it really odd how many people literally argue that they're not controlling the weather, they're not manipulating the weather, they're not using weather as a weapon whatsoever at all. I find that really strange because I thought that was a done deal. I thought we all knew what was going on. I thought we were all on the same page, but clearly we are not. You know what I mean? People think things like this right here are just completely and totally normal, that every single solitary day we have another thing like this.
Oh, it's coming.
That cat.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if that's a cat or a dog.
You can just see the rain. Okay, let's go.
Earlier there was like a good neighborhood, I know, and now it's a destructive. The cops. Oh, that's bad. Seeing all that debris. I wonder if the ZDR's dropping. I bet you it is. It's still a little north of us yet, too, though. Holy.
Oh my.
Stand by, I'm messing this up. All right, my bad. I got a lot of links open. Every single solitary day, there's another never before seen weather event, and people are like, climate change, buy an electric car. Well, first of all, electric cars won't work because even when it gets too hot out, people can't put their air conditioners on, or everyone loses power. But we're going to power up a grid of electric cars. Let me tell you a little secret. Here in Massachusetts, people are telling me this, regular people, sheeple. They're taking away the lanes on 2-lane roads going down the beach, going through the cities, heading out to Boston, and they're replacing it with a bike lane. What does that make you think? I'm going to guess that your number one answer is they're going to be taking away cars because there's going to be some sort of an event. You know, we're running out of oil. Oil is a how do I say this? Oil's like the Earth's blood. How about that? You can drain a bunch of it. And then I've talked to roughnecks down in Texas 1,000,000 times. They come back 10 years later and they can re-drill it all over again because it comes back. It comes back. It's not some thing made out of dinosaur bones. It's not fossil fuel at all. They made it sound super scarce so that people would pay whatever price they charge. And they charge and charge and charge. Best way to become a billionaire is to put oil in absolutely everything. Everything here has oil in it. Everything has oil in it. Everything. Plastic didn't used to exist. You know what I mean? It used to be glass. Everything was glass, but now everything's plastic. Everything is oil. They have done it, and they've gotten all the power. They've got all. Thank you. They've got all the money, and using wars. I think the fireworks are going off right there, right out that window. It'll probably blow up or something like that. But these oil guys have tricked the entire world, and Trump knows these dudes, man. Trump, I told you this before, and this makes sense, does it not? If Trump was anything for the people in any way whatsoever at all, even though he is a Zionist, Israel first, and he's a billionaire. Not once, but twice. I know I say this a lot, but there's new people in the chat, so it is what it is. If Trump wanted to do something, instead of giving $500 billion right away, just like when he was president first time, Hillary's going to jail. Hillary Clinton committed treason against the United States of America. That's not something you can sweep under the rug. Trump's going to put her in jail. The second he became president, he switched up 100%. Let's get a round of applause for Hillary and Bill Clinton. He did the same thing this time. I'm going to tell you about the drones. I'm going to drop food prices and gas prices. It'll be beautiful. This, that. He hands $500 billion to a country that's already severely in debt, The national debt is almost at $37.1 trillion now, which it's never been at before, ever. And that's not even the real debt. But if Trump wanted to do something to help America, he would put 100,000 Americans to work right away, rebuilding our electrical grid from the West Coast to the East Coast. And they could do it. They could do it. With unlimited funds and unlimited manpower, unemployment would be gone. He would make him the best president in the world. But he did the exact opposite. He put us even more in debt by giving the people that are building the machine that is going to completely finish Skynet, because they're pretty much done with it. All they're doing is putting their tokamaks, their new underground reactors, their neutron stars on Earth underground, so that we can never shut this thing down. We're literally going to live through Terminator. How crazy is that? If Trump was anything like the people's president, he would have did things like that. He wouldn't have came in and said, the drones, oh, they were supposed to be there. They were just a bunch of hobbyists. No, they weren't. No, they were not. I have 3 drones sitting right there. You fly a drone anywhere near where you're not supposed to fly it, it stops. Or, in my case, they take it right down. They take it right down like that. It's no big deal. They don't have to shoot it down. They can just kill it in the sky. They got an app for that. You know what I mean? Do you remember all the promises he made? He doesn't care about this country at all. He's literally here for whatever reason. Donald Trump is MAGA. MAGA. He's a high priest or something like that. I mean, he says it enough. He seems to be put in place for this. The 45th president, 4 plus 5 is 9. The 47th president, 4 plus 7 is 11. 9/11. Is that part of the ritual? Probably. But he is here to destroy, and we are going to see it. I mean, how pathetic is this? How pathetic is this? I'm literally watching them or listening to them about to hold on. Yeah, maybe where you are, but they're not where I'm at, not in Massachusetts and not in New Hampshire. It's over $4 a gallon. That's not low. That's California prices. So kind of strange indeed. What was I going to say? All right, 4th of July. 4th of July is tomorrow, and this is the mainstream right here. List of cities canceling 4th of July events expands. What to know? This was 10 hours ago. So several cities across the United States have canceled their 4th of July celebrations, which is if any of this were real, this is an absolute slap in the face. This is a harbinger. This is a warning. This is letting you know what the plan is. These cities are citing several reasons for canceling or postponing their celebrations, including fears that immigration customs enforcement officers might use the event to arrest people, as well as concerns about overcrowding. Independence Day is typically celebrated with large gatherings and fireworks displays, but current events and city budgets are affecting how people spend the holiday. This is ridiculous. These cancellations also came as the FBI and DHS have said they are working together to ensure there's no terrorist events. Well, if they're working together to ensure there's no terrorist events, that means they're putting it all together. They're putting it all together because every time you look at anything, that's who's behind it. Every single solitary M&F in time, period. So there it is. Are we good here in Sacramento? I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Western Mass. I just went up to Salisbury yesterday, and I crossed the border into New Hampshire, and I came back down to Saugus, Massachusetts. I paid $3.40 a gallon cash. That was the best price I could possibly find. Yeah, this is their game plan. This is what they laid out. This is what they showed us. Event 201. Cool, great, dude. All right, wow. So what is this supposed to prove? Some town in Western Massachusetts where nobody ever goes, gas is $3.05 a gallon. Terrific. So I'm completely wrong. Trump is here to help. Hilltown Motors just figured it out for us. Everything's good to go. Is that what you're saying? Because I don't know what that means. $4 a gallon in New Hampshire, no taxes in New Hampshire. Yeah, that ain't good. You know what I'm saying? $3.90 in Massachusetts, that ain't good. You see what I'm saying? But other than that, I'll just digress because I'm getting a little heated. At any rate, What else do we have? See this? See this? The Earth's magnetic poles are shifting 10 times faster than scientists expected. This is so much absolute bullshit. Completely and utterly false, fake, and fabricated. Okay? None of this is happening whatsoever at all. They're using their big machines to make things quake and make things flood. And then they post things like this, and people are like, yeah, that's what it is. It's the pole shifts. And there's plenty of massive YouTubers that have been staying on this for a long, long time because it's their bread and butter. You know what I mean? Talking about the solar flares and the sun is a light in the sky. The moon is a lesser light. Do you really, seriously, buy it that the sun and the moon, when you observe them with your God-given senses or man-made equipment, the sun and the moon are the identical size? Identical. Well, that's because one's 238,000 miles away and the other one's 93, million miles away. And they just happen to be the exact size so that when at those distances, they're identical. Come on, man. Seriously, come on, man. You know what I mean? I just showed you with an iPhone an island 2 miles out to sea, and you can see the water coming up behind it. It wouldn't work like that. I did that with an iPhone, a cellular phone, dude. How crazy is that? That's why I talk about it. I never used to talk about it, but we're at endgame here. Everything is in motion right now. Everything is in motion from every single solitary angle, man. I know where Shrewsbury's at. I used to live out in Greenfield for a little bit. Greenfield, Massachusetts. Yeah. I ended up in their local facility, their county facility, but on that, I'll digress. What else do I want to show you? Yeah, this, just nonstop. People are really thinking that this is all just completely organic, that every single solitary day, something's on fire, something's having tornadoes where they don't belong, or entire cities are going underwater, or there's hail the size of, golf balls and small baseballs, or there's just dust storms that are literally snapping telephone poles off at the base, the strongest part of the telephone pole. Telephone poles that have been there for 60, 70, 80 years. But now wind is blowing them over, but then the trees next to it, not so much. Yeah, I'm not buying this. They're doing this. They need all their smart cities after all of us are dealt with so that the sheep that all take their next round of mRNA vaccines can live there and stay in their house and live in the metaverse or whatever it's actually called. But this is just nonstop. Wildfires in Arizona, California. I'm pretty amped up right now. I just realized that. Yeah, but they don't lie about it. China, Russia, they don't lie about it. They tell you. They've been doing it since the 80s. See, when you leave a comment like that, I don't know what to make of that. I don't know what to make of that whatsoever at all. Yeah. At any rate, let's get to the next one because the fireworks are now going off, so it might get loud. This is every single day. 4 U.S. states could get hit with major storm during the holiday weekend. They're just smiting the people in the Midwest, smiting them. And this isn't even Tornado Alley, man. This is right next door to it. They're just smoking these guys. Really, dude? Why do we have to have ads? Whatever. Go away. Yeah, you know what? MSNBC sucks. But, man, do they kick the fair porn into high gear. They do not mess around whatsoever at all. Magnetic pole shipping. Oh, look at this. This is from a long time ago, okay? This is from 2005. The military wants the weather on its side. This year's horrid hurricane season has a scientist associated with the military wondering about ways to improve predictions and even control storms. Well, that's something they're trying to do. Yeah, actually, this was 20 years ago. 2005, 20 years ago. They've been doing this. And I mean, every one of us, I'm talking every YouTube channel that's into this understands and explains that weather as a force multiplier isn't just a play. It's not something they just decided to write up. This is very, very real. I've been talking about this ever since I've been on YouTube, talking about owning the weather in 2025. Well, now it is 2025, and they are owning it. This entire thing explains everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. The military system for weather modification operations, cross beam approach for generating an artificial ionospheric mirror. That little trick right there would cause tremendous earthquakes. Shoot things up, it reverberates back down, hits the ground, and boom. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Look at that. You see these weird little beams? Well, it looks just like the beams that you see on this. That didn't just click right over. I forgot. I got to share it singularly. And for everybody, yeah, see the beams that were on the Owning the Weather? Well, you can see them all over the place. You think those are 4th of July green laser beams that are shooting all the way across the states in every direction? It's insane. And according to them, this is just to tell you the weather. So in this area right here, they really want you to know the weather. But up here, you don't need to know the weather. So there's no Dopplers going off. This is how they move it. These are the new HARPs. Doppler and NexRad work together to intensify, control, and move storms. If they light a bunch of these up like this, it'll make the weather go around. Do you see what I'm saying? Or it'll keep a storm front over here or things of that nature. And if you keep shooting green lasers everywhere, according to them, Michio Kaku said it years ago, they were using specifically, I only bring him up because he's a quack, but I only bring him up because he is a physicist. That's his cup of tea. And he said we were using green lasers. Well, I find it strange that I'm seeing green lasers shooting in all directions right here, which means they're intensifying the storm so that this weekend, the weather they warned you about will show up in this area. These people are getting smashed down here. It's horrible, man. It's absolutely horrible. And what's even worse than that is people denying it. That's not real. That right there, that's just so you can get to work tomorrow and pay your taxes. They want you to know the weather. It's very important to them because the government cares. They want you to know the weather. It's for you. It's for America. I just find it really strange that they literally give us this map to look at and scrutinize. No problem. Because they know there's not enough people that are actually going to understand what they're looking at. Many, many smarter people than myself figured this out years ago, and now I know what it's doing. You know what I mean? And I try to show it to you guys. So there, as they say, is that those lasers, Swamp Lover. I mean, dude, look at them. They're shooting all the way across states. That's insane. Insane. And they're shooting right into that bright blue stuff that's frequencies. There's the link right there, but I leave the link in every video. That's the link for the map you're looking at right now, College of DuPage. That's what you want. You go to the bottom down here and you click on it and it lights right up. No pun intended, but it is what it is. I got to get through this quick because I've been up since 5 and I'm tired. So Earth's magnetic field is shifting 10 times faster. Well, there you go. These NexRad, this is them. You've seen them everywhere, or maybe you haven't seen them at all. But these NexRad things aren't so they can predict the weather better for you, me, and our children. These things are literally a much larger variation of HARP. HARP is only taking up a certain amount of space in Alaska. These things are worldwide. They're at least nationwide, and they're everywhere. Everywhere. And I'll tell you what, this technology is way past military technology. They're not using it so that your weatherman can tell you if it's going to rain tomorrow. You see what I'm saying? So it just amazes me. Here, look at this. Look at this. Let's see what Wikipedia says about weather manipulation, or where is it? Weather warfare. Weather warfare is the use of weather modification techniques, such as cloud seeding, for military purposes. Weather modification techniques, such as, and they throw in cloud seedings, and people instantly go, oh, they're just putting sprinkles in the storm clouds and helping them rain. That's not what they're doing at all. They were doing that back in the 1800s, man. You know what I mean? Cloud seeding has got nothing to do with anything. All the seeds, all the crops, everything is genetically modified right now. So they don't need to cloud seed. They've got an app for that. If it doesn't rain, they've got Terminator seeds that'll grow one crop, die off. They don't need cloud seeding anymore. And it's not what it is. It's warfare. And I mean, I can't help but notice that we knew when they went for it, they were going to use the weather as a weapon like we have never seen before. I'm going to say that's now because I ain't never seen this before. Every single solitary day, something crazy is happening. Every single solitary day. You know what I mean? It doesn't get any, I mean, it's getting insane how much action or activity is constantly going on. People don't want to see this. They don't want to see this. They watch television, they look at their phones, and they leave it in the hands of somebody else. You know what I mean? I couldn't even believe that QAnon is around again. I did a live stream when I was out in LA when the entire place burned to the ground overnight. I did a live stream, and the guy that I brought on, I'm not going to say any names, but I couldn't believe he started talking about Q. And I'm like, Q is something we debunked back when Trump was president the first time. But now I didn't even know it was a thing until I saw somebody post that big, long diatribe. The white hats are taking care of business. Wow, man. Anything other than what reality is. Because to be perfectly honest, unless you actually get out there and still enjoy creation, because there's a little bit left. A little bit. I mean, there used to be 50 birds. Now there's a couple of birds. Sometimes you see a butterfly. Sometimes you see a bee. You know what I mean? But still get out there. But being awake isn't awesome. It isn't awesome. You know what I'm saying? Understanding and knowing that pending doom is coming. And at one of these days, very, very soon, you're going to need to make a choice. Everybody else made the choice. How in the world could anybody know there was going to be a pandemic before it happened? Because a pandemic is theoretically an act of God. How would some jerk off in Massachusetts with no front tooth on a laptop figure that out by looking at paperwork? And then it happened. Well, they're getting ready to do it again because Event 201 gave us a month. In their biodefense tabletop exercise said July 4th, bio attack, which means I don't even know what it means. I don't even know what it means, but that's tomorrow. So that's a weird thing. So I figured I would do this tonight. And speaking of that, tomorrow night, I'm going to go on live with, not live. Tomorrow night, I'm going to go on with Now You See TV, me and, really, I can't think of his name, dude. John Pounders, my bad. Sorry, John. And now you got lists like this. And some, they're going to come back out with another thing. They're going to have to give you a vaccine, or you can't go outside, or you can't breathe air, or you can't drink water, or you can't, whatever. People will say, sure. Even though somebody very close to me got the COVID vaccine and had all 4 of the major symptoms except death. Heart condition, clogged arteries, stroke, and loss of vision. Didn't die. The person this person's married to said to me today, oh, we know what it was from because he took the COVID vaccine, the Moderna. And yet they're still completely asleep. Like, how can you just say that and go, oh, well, he took a vaccine so he didn't get a slight cold and had a stroke instead, a life-changing stroke. No big deal, no problem. This information's out everywhere, and it won't matter because when they tell you can't go outside, you can't go to work, you can't talk to your kids, you can't see people, you can't buy food, people are going to do what they got to do. And it's going to be the wrong thing. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here as it is now. And I am hoping that I can get out of here this weekend. But I can't actually roll out on the 4th of July. I am ready to go, but I can't bail. I just can't bail. I got to wait and see what happens tomorrow. Because if all hell breaks loose, I'm not leaving my old man and his wife by themselves. I just can't do it. I was going to, but I just can't do it. So it is what it is. At any rate, what else did I want to show you here? What else is fun? And this is fun. This'll get you. Let's end on a good note, shall we? This is an MSNBC. Attention, U.S. citizens. Yes, you can now be deported. Isn't that terrific? Isn't that great? MSN, Microsoft Network, Bill Gates getting it done for America, stirring the pot, scaring people. On June 11th, the U.S. Department of Justice issued a memo that sent ripples through the immigration communities across America. It quietly declared denaturalization. Yeah, the revocation of a U.S. citizenship from naturalized citizens, a top 5 priority. Isn't that terrific? People that are national security threats, that would be our entire government and most of our military high command, and everybody that works at farm, everybody that's a banker, pharmaceutical, or a doctor handing out these mRNAs, they're all national security threats. If you're convicted of or suspected of violent crimes, gang, cartel activity, again, gangs and cartels couldn't prosper if there wasn't money to be made and the authorities not stopping them from going from a gang into a cartel. See, a cartel is just a larger gang. And when you don't stop the gang, it becomes a cartel. And when you're making more money off of the drugs they're smuggling than they are, they're never going to stop it. Major fraud. If you're suspected of major fraud, like having 50,000 in your bank account and every month they give you 13 cents interest, that's not major fraud. Especially COVID era scams and healthcare fraud. Now I find that little COVID era scams. Well, that's jumbo shrimp. That's oxymoron right there. COVID wasn't real. It wasn't anything. It was simply and only relabeling everything people got sick and died from anyways as COVID. And I believe they stood at the podium in the White House and explained that to us because I showed it an awful lot of times. At any rate, yeah, U.S. citizens can be exported, deported, imported, whatever. Doesn't matter anymore. We live in an absolute clown show right now, and it's going to get worse. So head on a swivel, pay attention, because tomorrow's the 4th, and we'll see how that all plays out. At any rate, real quick, I did put a video up on, my nose is getting stuffy, on Jailbreak, and I'm basically exposing this dude who is an absolute gang raping, violent, multi-time offender who is now pretending to be a multimillionaire influencer alpha male. That's him right there. He's from Israel. He hid in Israel, 18 years old. He stood in court and pled guilty. We've got all the documentation. It's not like it's just in his own words right here. Him, his brother, and a friend raped a 15-year-old virgin the worst way for an hour easy. This is the most heinous thing I've ever read in my life. And this guy is still up on YouTube. And as a matter of fact, he's trying to say people are mad at him for him gang raping somebody and then fleeing to Israel afterwards and then coming back and claiming he was a FBI, Mossad, trained killer, this, that, the other thing. He's an absolute piece of crap. So if you could watch that video or at least share it, it's not doing me any good. You know what I mean? This guy needs to go. A lot of channels are doing the right thing and trying to get this guy off of the internet. So it is what it is. At any rate, guys, Richie from Boston, and I am